This is a brief introduction to the VISOR I/O Test Box and Power I/O cable. We're going to show how to connect it and how you use it. First, take the green connector off so it's easier to land the wires. And then look in the end and make sure all of these terminals are open, as you see here, so there's room to put the wire. And if some of them are half closed, then just unscrew every one before you get started. This shows how you wire the visor. It's got pin numbers and colors. And on the I/O box, it has these color codes like BK for black. And this is an easy way to show what wire color goes on what terminal. So when you know what wire color goes into what terminal, just insert it like this, all fully, so there's no metal sticking out, and then tighten the screw. You can see here that on the top is actually pin 12, the red-blue wire. You can get away with using the screwdriver that comes with the visor for focus, but you'd really be better off with a larger one if you have one. And if not, you just need to push hard on the visor screwdriver and really wrench it down because you don't have much torque with that tiny handle. So this shows how you're going to wire it. Suppose you have a visor in the field and you want to test it. Like people say, I'm not getting a PLC output. Okay, well, you've got the Power I/O cable connected to the visor. The Ethernet connection would be to the right. It's not shown. My bad. But you first start by disconnecting that Power I/O cable. Then you're going to take the Power I/O cable connected to your test box and plug it in instead. So this shows the test box's power cable plugged in and the original Power I/O cable beside the visor. Now we take our original Power I/O cable and we plug it into the test box. So now your test box is in line with the original Power I/O cable to the camera. So here's a test setup we're going to show you as an example, and you can see that there are push buttons and lights on this test box that correspond to inputs and outputs. Also, this comes wired with for PNP I/O, and if you need NPN, read the manual and move the jumpers on the black connector. We're really never going to use the black connector, very seldom.
Okay, on power up, you can see we have here on. The on light, that's the power light. It's on whenever the green light's on the back of the visor. This here we have ready. It shows pin 4 green. We have some push buttons, trigger, 3 white, 10 violet, 5 pink, 8 yellow, 7 black, 8 gray. And then we have these lights, 9 red, valid is 11 gray and pink, and so on. And you're going to see some wires that have like 7 black. It has both a push button and a light. Well, we have 2 discrete ins and 2 outs and 4 that are configurable in or out. That's why you have duplicates here. But if I press the trigger button, you could see the flash. And now we've got valid data, and that's it. But if I put a part in here, when I trigger, I get this wire, the 7 black I/O point, because it found this guy. And now if I put this screw on here and trigger it, okay, now we got the gray, because I configured it so that that gray corresponds to the screw and that the black corresponds to the circle.
In summary, if you can use the push buttons to trigger the camera or to change the job, and you can see the lights on the test box come on when appropriate, and you don't get those same responses with a PLC, then there's a problem with the PLC. And the most common problem is that the blue wire, the common, going to the camera is not at the same voltage as the common on the PLC I/O cards. There's an assumption that those are grounded, and that's not always the case. In summary, with the I/O test box, you can figure out, do we have a voltage problem that will show up when things don't behave correctly? Or if everything does behave correctly with the I/O test box, it's not the camera, and you just proved it.